Hello and welcome. I'm an AI expert specializing in modern hotel operations, and it's a real pleasure to welcome all of you students from Europe Hotel School to this online learning journey. We're going to dive into a tool that is absolutely critical for operational excellence, the emergency checklist. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what it actually feels like in a moment of crisis at the front desk. Then, we'll look at how a checklist can be your anchor in that chaos. After that, we'll get practical and break down how to design a system that really works. And finally, and this is so important, we'll cover how you turn that document into a living part of your hotel's culture. All right, let's start by setting the scene. We need to understand the environment where these tools are most needed, that chaotic, high-pressure moment when an emergency strikes. I want you to really picture this. You're at the front desk. Suddenly, a piercing alarm goes off. The phones start ringing off the hook, and you have guests walking right up to you, their faces filled with concern. What is your very first gut instinct move? In moments like these, our brains are just flooded. You've got sensory overload from the noise, and you're feeling this immense pressure to do the right thing. It becomes incredibly difficult to think clearly, let alone remember every single step of a procedure. And this right here is the absolute core of the issue. You could be the most well-trained, experienced professional out there, but under that kind of stress, you can still forget a crucial step. Relying on memory alone is a huge risk. It's a vulnerability that a checklist is specifically designed to eliminate. So, if we can't trust our memory, what can we trust? Well, that brings us straight to the solution, the emergency checklist. It really is like an anchor of stability in the middle of a storm. Let's be really clear about what we're talking about here. This is not some long, dense manual you have to read. Nope. It's a streamlined, practical tool. It gives you immediate, actionable prompts that make sure every critical task gets done and done in the right order. And this slide shows you the difference in the real world. Take a simple power failure. Without a checklist, your team probably remembers to turn on the emergency lights and call engineering. That's instinct. But what about logging the time of the event? What about informing the manager on duty? Those are the kinds of details that get missed in the heat of the moment. With the checklist, though, nothing is left to chance. Every single step is prompted, ensuring a complete and totally professional response. Okay, so knowing you need a checklist is step one, but designing one that actually works when the pressure is on, that's a whole other ballgame. So let's look at the blueprint for creating a truly effective tool. You know, the difference between a helpful guide and a useless piece of paper all comes down to clarity. A great checklist uses simple, direct language. No long paragraphs, no clutter, just clear, actionable commands. The whole point is to reduce the mental load on your team, not add to it. It has to focus only on the essentials, in the exact order they need to happen. This is a perfect example of what I mean. See how clear that is? Each step is a direct command. There's no room for guessing. It's just a simple, sequential roadmap to get you through those first critical moments. It's also so important to realize that one size does not fit all. The very first thing you do in a fire is totally different from your first action when the IT system goes down. A truly prepared hotel will have specific, tailored checklists ready to go for every emergency you can think of. And for our final section, look, a checklist is useless if it just sits in a binder collecting dust. We have to transform it from a document into a core part of your hotel's operational culture. First things first, accessibility. Your team has to be able to get their hands on this checklist instantly. No hesitation. That means printed copies right at the front desk, laminated versions near alarm panels, and of course, easy-to-find digital copies. In an emergency, seconds matter. You can't waste them hunting for a file. A great checklist is a living document. It's part of a cycle of continuous improvement. What does that look like? It means regular training drills. It means using it during actual incidents. And then afterward, you review how well it worked and you update it based on what you learned. It's a constant loop. Prepare, act, review, and refine. And let me tell you, that training piece is absolutely non-negotiable. When you practice with a checklist and a drill, it stops being this strange piece of paper and becomes a familiar, reliable tool. So when a real crisis happens, your staff isn't trying to figure it out for the first time. They're just confidently executing a skill they've already practiced. The benefits here go way beyond just getting the procedure right. Being this prepared has a huge psychological impact. Your staff feels more confident, more in control, and guess what? Guests can feel that. They see a calm, competent response, and it immediately reassures them and helps stop panic from spreading. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? In an emergency, your guests are looking for leadership. A front desk professional who is calmly working their way through a plan becomes that source of stability. They project an aura of control that is incredibly calming for everyone around them. So I'll leave you with this question to think about as you move forward in your careers. That moment of crisis, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So are your systems, your training, and your culture ready to turn that chaos into a controlled professional response? Thank you.